Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. Today I'm going to talk about your gut. I'm going to talk about your brain, and could your gut actually be making you feel crazy? When you think about it, sometimes it's because you don't really know what's going on with your gut. You don't know why you're having 20 bowel movements a day. You don't know why you're constipated and only going once or twice a week unless you take all these laxatives, all these different things. But other times, we actually have reasons why the gut is making the brain not function as well as it should. And that has to do with neurotransmitters. That has to do with a lot of different things that we're going to get into. And then also, could it be actually causing some of these inflammatory processes, some of this issue day in and day out that you just don't know why your body is having these symptoms? So stick with us. I'm going to go in depth into why you're having these symptoms and then ultimately what you can do about it, because that's what I want you guys to get this understanding, get this idea of what you can truly do to get your life back and to get your health back, and how that relates to your gut. That's how it relates to what is truly going on in that gut lining, in the microbiome, all of these different things. So ultimately, why are these symptoms happening, and what is the underlying cause? So we look at the gut. Some people just have a lot of gut symptoms and they're having chronic diarrhea. We have some patients come in and they're going 20 or 30 times a day, and we get them down to 1 or 2 times a day, and their bowels are working great, all these things. So some people, they are having these frustrations and they're feeling like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Why can't I stop going to the bathroom? Or other people, why can't I start going to the bathroom? And they're constipated. We have some people come in and they're going once or twice a week, and that's all they've gotten. They've got to take magnesium, and they've got to take these laxatives and drink coffee and all these different things, and they're having these issues. And if they are not able to go, they're getting more toxic. They're building up those toxins in their body, and that makes them feel a little bit crazy as well. And you're just frustrated, and then you start getting these toxins that you're not removing out, and that makes your brain a little bit more inflamed and makes it harder to think clearly, all these things. So what's going on with our digestive tract as far as elimination is a huge part of this. Some people, they don't know what is actually going on with what makes them flare up, and sometimes they do good on their bowel movements, and other times they can't figure it out why they all of a sudden have 5 bowel movements a day or have some emergency bowel movements, things like that. So there are reasons why, and I'm going to show you some things that you can do so that you can stop feeling crazy and start feeling more in control about your digestive tract and the symptoms that are going on. And speaking of being crazy, there's things called neurotransmitters in our body, and especially in our digestive tract. Serotonin is one of the biggest ones that not just is a gut neurotransmitter and a brain transmitter, but it affects both of those. We have just as many receptors for serotonin in our gut as we do in our brain. So what does that mean? That means that if your gut is out of balance and you're not getting the serotonin support into your digestive tract, you're not going to make those neurotransmitters, and your brain is not going to think clearly. Low serotonin function, that's going to be like if someone's taking Lexapro, Xanax. Some of those is usually from a low serotonin production issue. So then we've got this issue where we're not making enough serotonin. You're not getting into the brain, into those receptors like we need. And we're going to have more depression, more low motivation, just feeling in a funk, and sometimes feeling a little bit crazy as well. And so, we absolutely know we've got these brain issues. So welcome everybody. Some of you guys have already started putting some hellos in there. We've got United Kingdom represented and some other places. So pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see you all over the country, all over the world. And let me know what your gut is doing. If you're having gut issues, pop it down below and I will give you some ideas of what to do. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some ideas of just general gut health, as well as if you have not liked or followed this page, go ahead and do that already. We have tons of information in our YouTube channel. We'll pop that down below, and go ahead and subscribe to that. Over 700 videos on there, lots of information. You can search it way easier than on Facebook. So we know we have these neurotransmitter receptors in our gut. We know that if our gut is out of balance, especially that microbiome, we're not going to be utilizing our neurotransmitters like we need to, and we will be creating these imbalances. So if you're depressed, if you're anxious, look to your gut as one of the first places to start to get that sanity back into your life. And then the other part that we look at is people get this random inflammation. They get this autoimmune that they don't really know what is going on. They get these issues in their body, and a lot of times it is gut related, but it doesn't feel like gas, bloating, indigestion, all these different things. It just feels like, you know what, I don't feel good and I have inflammation, and somebody told me I have an autoimmune condition or my thyroid's off or whatever it is. But in reality, it starts in your gut, and you've got to get the gut figured out first before you start taking a whole bunch of turmeric or you start going on any type of autoimmune drug where they're going to suppress that immune system. They're not going to fix the underlying cause. So you've got to fix the gut first. If you've got random symptoms, if you've got inflammation, if you've got autoimmune, if you've got any of these different things, you've got to dig deep into your gut first and really get that dialed in. And then you'll start seeing those changes. We see people all the time, patients come in and day out, and they're like, they've got bone on bone in their knees. And yet once they get that inflammation down, once they get their gut where it needs to be, they're able to walk and run around and do lots of different things. And it's still bone on bone, but it's not fixed. But that inflammation has come down so much, and we're seeing these massive changes. So gut can cause a lot of random symptoms. It can cause just like Gardashan from the United Kingdom just asked, is asthma a gut issue? Absolutely. We know that more children on antibiotics, the higher rates of asthma, the higher rates of allergies. So there's absolutely, for the vast majority of people, it is intimately involved with somebody's asthma, breathing, inflammation, allergies, all of those type of things. So, yes, that's a great question. For those of you watching and those of you that have seen our page before, if you have not hit, there's a little bell up in the corner, and if you hit that, it will remind you when we go live. We try to go live as many days each week as we can, and just get information out there, actionable items for you guys to move your feet and really get some changes. So ultimately, then what can you do? What can you do to get your gut back in shape? And for many people, that involves, one, taking out potential food allergens. And with all of our patients, we'll do some type of elimination diet short term, where we'll take out gluten and corn and soy and dairy and various different foods that could be allergenic. We'll pull those out, and then as they start feeling better, then we can start adding them in one at a time. It's called reintroduction, and we go very nice and slowly and get those balanced out. And so then you go, okay, well, I can do a little bit of butter, but I can't do cheese, or definitely no dairy, because when I added it back in, totally flared up. So you go through step by step, take those foods out, and then add them back in slowly. Number two is going to be to work on the microbiome. One of my favorite ways to do that is we kill off first. We have an oregano oil. You can pop a link down below, Brittany, for that one in the Well Store. We have an oregano oil. It's time released. It gets down into that lower digestive tract. We kill off bad stuff, the bad bacteria, and then you bring in the probiotics. So many people are doing probiotics first, but not starting with killing off the bad stuff first. So you've got to kill off, build up, and maybe even do that 2 or 3 times. It can take that many times for some people if they're in bad enough shape. So we've got our microbiome, we've got working on the food allergies, and then you've got to work on the gut lining itself. And this is what we call leaky gut. And if you can heal up that gut lining, one, taking out the bad stuff, two, removing the foods and some of those irritants, but then three, with that leaky gut and working on that gut lining, you've got to add in a lot of the good stuff that is going to help and heal that. So fermented foods are really, really important for that. Bone broth, collagen, those are really, really important for healing up that gut lining. You've got glutamine, marshmallow root, aloe vera, a lot of these different nutrients that are going to truly start to heal that gut lining. But you can't just take that without changing what's going in and changing what's damaging it. So you've got to take out the damage and you've got to start repairing in there as well. So this is what it comes down to. Your gut and these symptoms can make you feel crazy. It can be the chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation. It can be any of these gas, bloating, just yucky feelings. And you're like, what on earth is going on? I don't know what to do. It can actually be making you feel crazy by throwing off your neurotransmitters and making you depressed and have all these symptoms. But it can also be causing inflammation, autoimmune conditions, a lot of things where you're like, man, why me? Why do I have MS? Why do I have rheumatoid arthritis? Why do I have type 1 diabetes? And it's usually a major gut component. So love having you guys on. If you got any questions at all, pop those down below and I would love to answer those questions. If you're having a hard time, can't figure it out, don't know what to do with your gut, our F8 doctors are waiting to talk to you and give you answers to what you have going on. So you guys stay strong, keep your body as healthy as possible, and we'll talk soon. Have a great day.